Unit 1, Environment, Ecosystem, Biodiversity. Environment, Ecosystem, Biodiversity. So it is a 3-component system, 1, 2 and 3 parts. Okay, now we will see the first part. It is 3-component system. Number 1 environment, number 2 ecosystem, number 3 biodiversity. There are separate points for each part of the first unit. So the first unit has 3 parts: environment, ecosystem and biodiversity. Environment is anything that surrounds any given organism. So this is you. Anything that surrounds you is called as the environment. You are surrounded by biotic and the abiotic components. Okay, now we will go into the details very quickly. Okay, first component, environment. Environment is anything that surrounds a given living organism. There are 2 components, biotic and abiotic components. Okay, BAB. Biotic components are producer, consumer and decomposer, and they transfer energy, and each level of transfer between the producer, the consumer and the decomposer is called as the trophic level. Okay, so I am writing everything in short form so that you can remember it easily as a mind mapping technique. So biotic, producer, consumer, decomposer, they transfer energy. Each step is called as a trophic level. And within consumers there are primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers. Within decomposers, primary, secondary and tertiary decomposers are there. Abiotic components are non-living systems. 3 physical components which can easily be remembered. They are the hydrosphere, the atmosphere and the lithosphere. All the aquatic components are there in the hydrosphere. All the gases which are there in the earth system, which are the mixture of gases, that is in the atmosphere, and all the rocks, the soil, the earth, everything together forms the lithosphere. You can remember it easily by the word HAL. Okay, so biotic systems, producer, consumer, decomposer. Abiotic systems, hydrosphere, atmosphere, lithosphere. How are they linked? The systematic interaction, they are systematically linked. The systematic interaction between the biotic and the abiotic components in an ecosystem, in an environment, is what you call as the second part of the first unit. You call it as an ecosystem. Okay, so systematic interaction between biotic and abiotic, you call it as a ecosystem. Now, ecosystem, I already told you, it is the systematic interaction between the biotic and the abiotic. Remembering it once again, biotic is producer, consumer, decomposer. Abiotic is hydrosphere, atmosphere, lithosphere. This is how you have to remember in your mind. And ecosystem has both structure and function. Okay, structure and function. What is the structure of the ecosystem? The structure of the ecosystem is fundamentally, for your syllabus, you will learn about 2 different structures of the ecosystem. One is the land ecosystem and the other is the aquatic ecosystem. The land ecosystem, basically it can be divided into 3 depending on where they are in the earth. Okay, this is the equator, and the regions near to the equator are called tropical regions. The regions slightly away with moderate climates are called as temperate regions, and the regions at the extreme levels are called as polar regions. Now based on this classification, we call them as tropical, temperate and polar, TTP. Okay, remember it as TTP, tropical, temperate, polar. And all these 3 types are found in the 3 basic types of land ecosystem. What are they? Forest, grassland and desert ecosystem. forest, grassland, desert ecosystem. Okay. So this is the structure of the land ecosystem. When you come to the aquatic ecosystem, what you should remember is the aquatic ecosystem is fundamentally divided into whether the water body is standing or flowing, whether it is stagnant. If it is stagnant, it is staying in one place, then you call it as lentic. Okay? If it is flowing, then you call it as lotic. Some of the lentic ecosystems are ponds and lakes. Some of the lotic ecosystems are rivers and streams. So remember it like that. This is the physical structure of the ecosystem. Now here, what are the determining factors that govern life? In case of the land ecosystem, the major factors are rain, sun, temperature and soil conditions. Okay, these are the major factors which govern the kind of diversity of life that is found and the kind of relationship between the biotic and abiotic factors that are present in this particular ecosystem. Whereas in the case of aquatic ecosystem, what are they? If this is an aquatic system, as you go deeper, the temperature will come down, the amount of light will also come down, and with increasing depth there is the increasing problem of pressure. Also the nutrients are much more important in the aquatic ecosystem, because here depending on the nutrients, if there is only one kind of nutrient, very strict nutrient level, then you call it as oligotrophic. If there are too many nutrients, which is also not good, then you call it as eutrophic. So oligotrophic and eutrophic, these are common things. Okay, so that is the structure of the land ecosystem and the aquatic ecosystem. Now we are going to the function of the ecosystem. How does the ecosystem function? Coming to the function of the ecosystem can be understood as the linear progression of energy from the producer to the consumer, and finally the producer and consumer going to the decomposer. Okay. Now, how does this chain produce? How does the energy get transferred? It gets transferred in a very simple manner. If it is a unilinear transfer, then it is called as food chain. If it is a network of several food chains, which is actually what is happening in nature, then it is called as food web. Okay, so you have food chain and food web, the primary methods by which the energy is being transferred or how the ecosystem functions. Now, if you go deeper, the ecosystem functions by the help of what is called as biogeochemical cycles. Okay, so biogeochemical cycles. For your environmental science and engineering course, you are required to remember or learn about two fundamental biogeochemical cycles. They are the nitrogen cycle and the oxygen cycle. The oxygen cycle is pretty basic, but in the nitrogen cycle, you should remember terms like nitrification, denitrification, ammonification, etc. You can watch the detailed lecture videos available in my channel for that particular purpose. This is a revision class. Okay. So nitrogen cycle is very important, and then oxygen cycle. And there are around 6 biogeochemical cycles, which include the carbon cycle, the phosphorus cycle, the sulfur cycle, etc. But you are at present required to know these 2 cycles alone. Okay. Now, this is the way in which the nutrients are balanced and systematically rotated within the biotic and the abiotic components, and the balance is maintained in the ecosystem. So I have just revised about the environment and the ecosystem. Now we are going to move on to the third part of the unit, which is the biodiversity, whose points are completely different from these 2 parts. Okay, the third part is biodiversity. The first part was environment, the second part was ecosystem, and the third part for the first unit, environment, ecosystem and biodiversity. So that is the third part, biodiversity. Okay, so unit 1, the third part. The first thing about biodiversity is the definition of biodiversity. It is the variety and variability. Okay, variability of what? Of living organisms. Okay, now that is number 1. So living organisms differ in, this is the second part, they differ in 3 types. Number 1, genetic diversity. This is diversity between the genes found between the different organisms. Species diversity. And number 3, ecosystem diversity. Okay, so that is 2. So these are the types. The first one is definition, the second one is types. So once you have learned the types of biodiversity, the third part is to identify the values given to each and every variety and variability between the organisms found in nature. We place certain values on organisms based on how they relate to us or how they relate to nature. So some of the examples, most important examples are productive value, consumptive value, medicinal values. These 3 are very, very important. Okay, from which you get products, from which you are able to consume, and from the diversity from which you get the medicines. Then you also have other values like aesthetic, spiritual, cultural, etc. You have a lot of values, but these 3 are the major values. Once you have dealt with the values, then you need to identify the threats to the biodiversity present. So what are the threats? Now very easily you can say that pollution is a threat and destruction of forest is a threat, but you should be very careful on how to mention them sequentially when you are answering a question. So there are 3 major threats. Loss of habitat. Okay. Number 2, poaching, which is the illegal trading of wildlife and wildlife related products. Number 3 is man-wildlife conflict. So loss of habitat, poaching and man-wildlife conflict. These are the 3 major threats. Once you have identified the threats, then the 5th point is you need to know how to conserve them. There are 2 methods of conservation of biodiversity. If you conserve the species within its own habitat, then it is called as in situ. If you conserve it outside its habitat, then it is called ex situ. So, in ex situ, this is how you should remember. In situ conservation is the conservation within the habitat. Ex situ conservation is the conservation outside the habitat. Now these are the major things under biodiversity. Now there is one more thing that you should understand within biodiversity. You should know that there are, within species, there are endangered, threatened, and extinct. But what is most important is the word endemic. It means that particular animal or that particular plant is found only in that particular place. It cannot be found anywhere else. Then it is called as an endemic species. So that is the very, very important word. And there are certain regions in the earth which are high in concentration of endemic species. So those areas which are high in concentration, which have a high concentration of endemic species, are called as hotspots. Now there are around 26 to 28 hotspots all around the world, and in India you have two major hotspots, the Western Ghats and the Eastern Himalayas. Okay, so that was a very quick revision of Unit 1 and the major points that you should keep in your mind. Fine. So Unit 1 is composed of three parts. Number 1, environment, where you define the environment. You say about the producer, consumer, decomposer. You say about the biotic and abiotic parts. Number 2 is ecosystem, where you describe both the structure and the function of the ecosystem. You have two major ecosystems, the land and the aquatic. You can also call the land as the terrestrial ecosystem. And the third part of the first unit is biodiversity, which consists of the definition of biodiversity, the types of biodiversity, the values of biodiversity, the threats to biodiversity, and the methods of conservation of biodiversity, and finally you conclude with how you conserve the various forms of biodiversity. Now for a detailed explanation of all these things, you can watch my lectures on Unit 1 in the same channel.